Robert, dude, congratulations on the Northman. Saw it last night at the premiere. Reception was amazing. It was awesome to watch it with an audience. So I actually want to start by asking you, we went a couple years without going to theaters. What was the first movie you got to go back and see again with a crowd?
I think the first one was Titane, and followed by Dune.
Dude, oh yeah. What's like your go-to if the tickets go on sale? That's the kind of movie I'm going to see.
I mean, like I generally am looking at like European art house cinema. Like, come on, or like, oh wow, like this Kurosawa movie is like playing in 35 millimeter. I mean, that's
gotta go appreciate it and show some love. I respect that. So I spent some time with Neil Price, who was one of your advisors on the film, and making sure you guys got things as accurate as possible on set with props, costume, kind of dialogue and everything. He told me he read your script for The Northman. It was already pretty close. He didn't have too many notes on it to give you. I'd love to hear from you. Like, what were some things you still got to learn from people like Neil who were informing you on Viking's accuracy?
I mean, Neil's just a humble person, but tons and tons of stuff. I mean, tons of stuff. And one of the lines in the film, Willem Dafoe and Ethan Hawke are initiating the child Alexander Skarsgård into what it is to be a man, and one of the things they say is to heed the wisdom of women, and they talk about how women are the keepers of magical things. There's a lot of witches in this movie, and Johanna Katrin Friedrichsdottir was talking about how so Odin lost his eye for knowledge, and Odin, even though he's like a warrior, tried to learn about sorcery, which is a female thing. And she's saying, this guy's hanging himself on a tree, poking his eye out, driving himself crazy, trying to learn things that the female gods know implicitly. And that was something that was cool from Joanna that we put into that scene.
That's awesome. I heard you guys really like some of the props, like helmets. There's kind of parts of helmets that are just our history has combined different parts that, like the top is from one region, the bottom, the part that comes across face from another region, because we're still piecing Viking history together.
Yeah.
Was there one prop that you got to be like, wow, we get to really recreate this on like a proper budget to make it look as authentic as it could, that you took a lot of pride in helping kind of exist again?
I mean, Neela Gleisel, who was one of the, she's an expert on Viking clothing. When she stepped into Ethan Hawke's Great Hall, she started to cry. That's
cool. Are you guys doing anything with the props now? Are they going to go on display somewhere? Because it's not like people don't get to make these things.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was I wish there was a Robert Eggers Misery Land with all of my Vikings and sets and lighthouses and sad Puritan farms. But, alas.
Yeah. I think you're probably going to be talking about this quite a bit, and this is going to be a scene that everybody reacts to. The continuous shot you do. There's a lot of extended shots, which I want to talk about. But there's a continuous shot, which is the raid sequence where Alex is in berserker mode, and they're climbing a fence. They're fighting an entire village. And it's all in one shot. Like, how did you pull that off? How many days did that take? Is it truly all one shot? Is it stitched a bit? Like, if you want to give up some of the magic, I respect it. But man, I got to commend you on that. And I just would love to hear about making that.
Yeah, I mean, it took a tremendous amount of planning. We built that village from scratch, not just to build a village, but to build a village where we could shoot that exact sequence, that exact way. I think it took 4 days to shoot it, but it was every single beat was so planned that it wasn't the hardest thing we did in the film, even though it was the most complex and the most demanding. I think it was physically one of the hardest things that Alex had to do because it was so demanding on him. But there were some easier scenes that were harder because we were like, oh, that'll be fine, and we got to focus on this raid. That's
unreal. What was the hardest scene?
I mean, one random thing that's just it's not very interesting is the scene where Alex and Annie are riding on horseback away from camera towards the sea. like for whatever reason, getting the boats to be center and the horses to be symmetrical, I was like, 35 takes or something for something seemingly very simple.
Hey, well, that kind of perfectionist in you, it paid off because visually the film is stunning, dude. I noticed that during a lot of dialogue sequences, you let the camera continue rolling and you don't cut around back and forth too much, which kind of gives us a feeling like it's almost like a stage play. Was that your intention? Why did you feel such a need to let the actors have these kind of extended sequences where they're talking back and forth and it lets it breathe that way?
I just, I like to have the audience experience things in real time instead of trying to be false. I feel like it's more immersive, and and the more cuts you have, the least each one means. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally. You could feel the movie grips you and puts you in this world. I walked out of theater. I was like, someone's just gonna have a sword. I saw your comments last week about how when the budget gets bigger, the studio gets a little bit louder. I'd love to hear what kind of notes come down that were a bit different. Can you share any of that stuff?
I mean, there is a lot of the opening. This was not a big deal at all. But the opening monologue in the film is in English, but it was originally in Old Norse with subtitles, whatever, Sure. And I think, I just want to be really clear because some people have been pulling my quotes and out of context and distorting the heck out of them. I knew I was not going to have final cut on this movie when I signed up, before I gave the script to the studio. And obviously, the studio's going to give notes. It's not studio interference. It's called, making a movie,
Right.
And by the way, the studio notes and the immense studio pressure that I did not enjoy. I did not enjoy the test screening process, but it made the film better. And
Sure.
and this is my director's cut. There's not going to be some bloated version on the DVD that's better just because I got to keep all of my precious scenes. Come on.
Yeah, you're on a roll though right now. Your last 3 in a row, 3 for 3. Do you still get anxiety over showing it for the first time to a crowd or the executives or the public that's going to buy tickets in a few weeks?
I'm terrified, I'm terrified, man.
I believe it, but hey, I wouldn't be too nervous. This one's great. Your last lead actor went on to become Batman. Well, right after you guys were filming it, did Robert Pattinson tell you that he was in talks for that when you guys were doing Lighthouse? Whether it was, I think you were done shooting.
No, but when we were doing his ADR in London, we had a drink afterward, and he was like, "I need to play Batman." And I was kind of like, okay, whatever, man.
Have you seen the movie yet?
Yeah.
What'd you think of him?
I think he's awesome. And I also give major props to Matt Reeves for keeping his authorial voice in making a comic book movie.
Yeah, I imagine that sort of process. I don't know if that's something you're interested in. Have people come to you yet and been like, hey, we'd love to see if you're into this kind of superhero thing?
Not Marvel, but I think. But what do I have to offer Marvel? I mean, there's everything that I'm good at is the antithesis of what a good Marvel director has. So I just don't see.
Yeah, well, I could see that. Man, if they ever got you in there, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, I don't care. They let you do your thing. It's going to be special. And I do want to hear about your next project. If I can hear anything about Nosferatu, man. You guys, how's that coming?
Look, it's fallen apart twice, and maybe the ghost of Murnau is telling me what are you doing, buddy? I know you love this movie, but that doesn't mean we need another one. I don't know, but I would like to say that Harry Styles was not going to play Nosferatu.
Well, good to know. We'll put those to bed.
Yeah.
Well, man, for now it's all.
I mean, he was cast, but not as the vampire.
He was not going to be
the vampire.
Oh, how's the hunt for the vampire going?
Please.
Good luck with it, man. For now, Northman, I cannot wait for everybody to see this because I want to talk about it. So congratulations on another great film, and thank you so much for talking to me. Absolute pleasure.